Showed up to my boss's lavish company branch opening party, only to hear my name being mocked as people whispered, "There's the guy his own team laughs at." Then my boss smirked and said to security, "Remove that useless fool." So I left quietly, cut every project, froze every account, and pulled my 70% share worth 94 Mellers. Minutes later, my phone lit up with 99 calls and someone showed up at my door. I wasn't supposed to be there. The invitation showed up in my spam folder with "loser" in the subject line. My boss thought it was hilarious, sending his assistant an invite to the executive branch opening as a joke. But I went anyway. I drove my 2011 Honda Civic to the new location in downtown. Valet parking only. The attendant looked at my car like I'd pulled up in a shopping cart. Inside, the place looked like something from Architectural Digest. Marble floors imported from Italy. Crystal chandeliers worth more than my annual salary. A champagne fountain that probably cost what I made in 6 months. I wore the same navy suit I'd bought at Goodwill 3 years ago. Everyone else looked like they stepped out of a Forbes photo shoot. I stayed near the bathroom holding a glass of champagne I didn't drink, trying to blend into the wallpaper. Groups of executives floated past me without a glance. I checked my watch every 5 minutes, planning my exit. That's when I heard my name. My boss was standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows with 3 investors I recognized from quarterly meetings. He was laughing, gesturing with his scotch glass. "See that guy?" He pointed in my direction. "That's my assistant. Poor bastard thinks he actually matters around here." I froze. One of the investors asked something I couldn't hear. My boss leaned in, his voice carrying just enough. "The Taipei expansion? Please." I closed that deal. He just filed the paperwork and sent a few emails. My throat went tight. I'd spent 11 months on Taipei, alone, late nights translating contracts, video calls at 3 a.m. because of the time difference, negotiating supplier terms in broken Mandarin I taught myself on YouTube. My boss showed up to exactly 1 meeting, the final signing, and took credit for everything. He kept talking. Honestly, I keep him around because he's too stupid to realize he's being used. Works twice as hard for half the recognition. The investors laughed. Someone asked if I knew. He smirked. "God, no. He thinks we're a team." It's actually kind of sad. That's when security appeared next to me. I looked up. My boss was staring directly at me from across the room, and I knew. He'd seen me listening. His face didn't change. He just raised his glass slightly and said loud enough for half the room to hear, "Remove that useless fool from my building." People turned. Conversation stopped. The security guard touched my elbow. I didn't argue, didn't make a scene. I just set my champagne down on the nearest table, turned, and walked out through those glass doors into the cold October air. My hands were shaking when I sat in my car. Not from anger, from something colder. Clarity. I pulled out my phone and opened the folder I'd been avoiding for 6 months. My uncle passed away last spring. He was my boss's original business partner, the one who actually built the company from nothing, while my boss handled sales and took credit. When my uncle died, he left me something my boss never knew about. His shares, 70% of the company. My lawyer had been begging me to review the paperwork, but I'd kept putting it off. I didn't want to deal with it. Didn't want to think about my uncle being gone. Didn't want to disrupt my job even though it was killing me slowly. Now, sitting in that parking lot, I finally read the documents. I owned the majority of my boss's company. I just never filed the transfer paperwork with the state. I called my lawyer. It was 9:47 p.m. He answered on the second ring. "File everything tonight," I said, "and freeze all company accounts and project authorizations until ownership transfer is complete." "Are you sure?" he asked. "Once this goes through, do it." I drove home, made myself a sandwich, took a shower. By the time I got out, my phone was vibrating so hard it fell off the bathroom counter. 99 missed calls, 47 texts. Most were from my boss. The first ones were angry. "What the hell did you do?" Then confused. "This has to be a mistake." Then desperate. "Please call me. We can fix this." Then my doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole. It wasn't my boss. It was his wife. She was holding a folder and her eyes were red. I opened the door. "What's going on?" "I need to tell you something," she said. "He's been stealing from me too." She showed me bank statements. He'd been siphoning money from her family trust for 3 years, over $2 million, to fund his lifestyle and pay off gambling debts she didn't know existed. "I'm filing for divorce tomorrow," she said, "but I wanted you to know first, because if you're taking the company, he can't hide behind his salary anymore." I invited her in. We sat at my kitchen table, 2 people my boss had underestimated, and made a plan. By morning, the lawyers had processed everything. I officially owned 70% of the company, worth $94 million. My boss owned nothing without my approval. He showed up at my apartment at 6 a.m. still in his clothes from the party. "We can work this out," he said. "I'll make you a partner. Real equity." "I already have equity," I said. 70%. His face went white. "You're fired," I continued. "Security will escort you out at 9. He tried to say something, but I closed the door. 3 weeks later, I sold my shares to a competitor for $107 million. Used some of it to start my own consulting firm. His wife got her money back in the divorce settlement. Last I heard, he's working sales at a car dealership.
Click the link on the homepage to watch the full follow-up for free.